A.T. Fomenko and G.V. Nosovsky. How It Was in Reality. Chapter 1. Epic of the 11th Century. Part 1. The First Roman Kingdom of the Old Rome. This chapter is also brief, as very little data has survived. It appears that in the Mediterranean in the era of the 10th to 11th centuries, a kingdom emerged, which could provisionally be called Romaic, or Roman, or the First Rome. Its first capital was a city in the fertile Nile Valley in African Egypt. Here, farming developed rapidly in order to feed the large population. Sciences and the first technologies originated here. Very little written evidence about this first kingdom has survived. It is possible that in addition to that, Egypt was one of the main religious centers of both Romania of 11th to 13th centuries, and after that, the Great Mongol, which equals Great Empire, of the 14th to 16th centuries. It was the focal point for the cult of the dead. Maybe this originated due to observations the ancient people made, that in that area, due to the hot and dry climate, a corpse left in the burning hot sand would not decompose. Hence, they decided that this area would be most suitable as a burial site. The capital of the ancient African kingdom was not far from the mouth of the Nile and today is called Alexandria. It was here that the first writing originated, in the form of hieroglyphics, i.e., writing with symbols. It is probable that this method of communication and transmission of thoughts was the first to appear. If a person wanted to communicate something to others, he would draw a variety of symbols representing different things. There were as yet no monumental structures as we know them today in African Egypt. Pyramids, sphinxes, temples, or obelisks. They were to appear significantly later, in the epoch of the 11th to 16th centuries, when in African Egypt an imperial cemetery was founded for the Tsar Khans of Romania, and later of the great Mongol-Russian horde empire. The deceased Tsar Khans of the great empire and other important high-ranking people were brought here. They were buried in luxurious tombs, sometimes with a large amount of gold and jewels. Prior to a long transportation, their bodies were embalmed to prevent decomposition during the journey. See an image from the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, Figure 2. It is possible that depicted here is ferrying of the dead across River Styx, i.e., Mediterranean Sea. Ancient Greek myths tell us about Charon, the ferryman of the dead, who carried the deceased on his boat across the river Styx into the kingdom of the underworld, that is, as we understand it now, to the Nile Valley, Egypt. The name Charon probably originated from the Russian word chorniu, which is spelled Chorniu, or Chhoronit, which means to bury. Translator's note. 5e2, chapter 7. The extent of the burial construction in Egypt itself shows that the Nile's estuary became a part of the gigantic and powerful empire which established its royal cemetery here. Oblivious to this, scientists were compelled to paint a fantastic picture of ancient Egyptians whose main, if not exclusive occupation, was purportedly the burial of their local pharaohs. This being true, the volume of valuables, gold, etc., which was buried here was supposedly only amounted to a fraction of the state treasury. In the 11th century, the kingdom's metropolis moved to the Bosporus, where in a strategically advantageous location, the narrowest part of the Bosporus, emerged a city of Euros, or Jerusalem, aka Tsargrad, city of the Tsar, translator's note. aka Troy, approximately 30 kilometers north of modern Istanbul. It is here that the imposing ruins of the city and a fortress called Yoros survive to this day. Later, in the 13th to 14th centuries, the kingdom's capital moved slightly south, where a new city emerged under the same name of Jerusalem. Over the course of time, it was called Constantinople, and later Istanbul. The name of Jerusalem was floating and at different times was applied to different cities. Various provinces, Fema districts, were part of Romaic kingdom. Rus, or Russia, was one of them, and it was the largest, figure 3. In the era of the 10th to 11th centuries, for the first time, Paschal cycle was calculated, 6v3, chapter 2. The first ecclesiastical calendar was created. Astronomy emerges, first intended to serve the ecclesiastical calendar and to observe seasonal changes in weather and climate. We will show you astronomical dates of the early zodiacs calculated by us, which fall within the era of the 11th century. Sometimes there are different solutions arising within the later epochs. We would like to clarify that a horoscope is the position of planets in a constellation. For example, Mars in Virgo, Saturn in Pisces, etc. The horoscopes are calculated in the following way. Having located the position of the planets in their constellation at a certain moment in time, for example, today, and knowing the numerical value of planets' orbit periods around the Sun, by plotting backwards or forwards whole multiples of these periods, you can obtain the positions of the planets in their constellations in the past and in the future. Currently, there are computer programs which allow us to date horoscopes found in the ancient manuscripts, frescoes, paintings, tombs, and etc. We have created a program, HOROS, or XOPOC, designed specifically for the analysis of the ancient zodiacs and horoscopes, which fully utilize all the astronomical data recorded in them. The principal horoscope, additional auxiliary horoscopes, and so on. Chapter 1, Part 2. Astronomical Dating of the New Chronology. 1. Years 969 or 1206. Zodiac SP from the tomb of Pharaoh Seti the First. A colored fresco on the arch of the burial chamber, ancient Egypt. Luxor, Valley of the Kings, allegedly deep antiquity. In fact, the first variant, 14th through 16th of August, 969. The second variant, 5 through 7th of August, 1206, and referred to 3v2. 2. Years 1007 or 1186. Zodiac of Mithra of Gedernheim. It is depicted on stone tablet bas relief. Europe, Germany, allegedly antiquity. In fact, the first variant is 14th through 15th of October 1007. The second variant is 14th through 15th October 1186. 3. Year 1007. The first zodiac SN from the tomb of Senumut. It is depicted on the arches of the tomb, but not in the burial chamber itself. Ancient Egypt, Luxor, allegedly deep antiquity. In fact, 14th through 16th of August 1007. 4. Year 1007. Zodiac of Mithra of Apulum. It is depicted on the stone tablet bas relief, Europe, Dacia. Allegedly antiquity. In fact, 14th through 16th August 1007. 5. Year 1007. Zodiac MT on the Metternich stela. It is depicted on the stone tablet found in Alexandria, ancient Egypt, allegedly deep antiquity. In fact, 14th through 16th August 1007. 6. Years 1071, 1189, or 1308. Concise zodiac KZ. Stone bas-relief on the ceiling of the temple in the city of Ermont, ancient Egypt. Allegedly antiquity. In fact, first variant 15th through 16th May 1071. Second variant 30 through 31 May 1189. Third variant 6 through 8 May 1308. 7. Ptolemy's Star Catalogue, Almagest. Allegedly antiquity. In fact, approximately not earlier than 11th century. 3v1. End chapter 1.